Fergus. Fergus, hello.
Hey, Eddie, how are you getting on?
Okay. Can you see the feed? Have you seen the feed?
I have seen the feed. I've switched it off, so
Yes.
it didn't complicate matters.
I understand,
It
yes,
looked
probably-
extremely complicated.
Probably a good idea. But yes, 1 hour down, and
1 hour. How many meters?
well, I've done 7.84 kilometers now. 'Cause I'm running at 7.5 kilometers an hour, so I've just done over. In this way, it's basically, if I do 7k an hour, then I can do a 6-hour marathon and then start the show an hour afterwards. But it doesn't allow for loo breaks. So
Yeah.
if I want a pit stop to grab something to eat or whatever, if I make it slightly faster, so I've just chosen 7.5, and you can, well, when you go back on it, you'll see underneath top left there's an orange 42.2, which is the number of k I have to run, and you can see the time counting down there. So 4.5 hours to go, which isn't too bad.
Well, I've just done some sums.
Oh, great! I like.
Just done some sums. One marathon, 42,000 meters.
Wow, there you go. Yes,
There you go.
that makes
So
sense.
Your 31 marathon. 31 marathon is 1.3 million meters,
Oh, very good.
and you've done 7,000.
Yeah, and this is my 100th marathon. I didn't tell anyone this. Yes, this is my 100th marathon for charity. I've done other practice ones as well, but this is actually the 100th one. So there you go. Now tell us about yourself, and you've just been made CEO, yeah, of Walking with
Yeah.
Women. How long ago was that?
So today is the
Oh,
great
wow.
day.
Excellent.
I've been with the charity, well, the charity's only 10 and a half years old. I was the first employee through the door,
Wow.
and have been operations director since we started recruiting teams and actually spending money and supporting servicemen.
Excellent.
And today is the first day as chief executive.
Congratulations. And tell us, Walking with Women, it just sounds great. And you were talking about, I've just seen a little briefing thing saying, can you do, I take it you do go out on expeditions walking with the wounded, and can you do it this year? This is the question that's floating around.
Yeah, so we've done a number of cool expeditions actually. We've been to North Pole, to
Wow.
Everest,
Excellent.
to the South Pole. We walked the length of Britain, and we walked across America.
Can I just interrupt you? Did you go to the top of Everest?
No, do you know what? We got to Camp 3,
Wow, that's pretty good though.
and it was deemed a little bit too dangerous. It was that year that I think 12 people died.
Oh God, yeah. It
And,
does sound scary.
With wounded veterans going up Everest, we didn't want to risk them anymore. So we got to Camp 3, and the better part of that was to say no, enough now. It was
How-
too dangerous.
And how high is Camp 1? Is base Camp 1, and how is Camp 3? Or roughly?
Stretching my memory, but I think base camp is at we're talking 8,100 meters or 8,300. I can't remember. Is the summit of Everest? Base camp is at about 5,000 meters,
Wow.
and Camp 3 is in the middle somewhere.
All right.
It's,
And how many? Can I ask how many camps or how many different
Okay.
camps? Go.
Yeah, there are four camps, and then from Camp 4, you then make your summit attempt,
Gotcha.
and you tab up. But,
Well, fabulous that you guys got to there. Sorry, I interrupted you on that. I just find Everest scary and fascinating. And
it was scary, and it was fascinating, and it was fascinating building a team
Yeah.
of wounded veterans that have been injured in the last sort of 15 years of rather kinetic energy that have been involved, and getting them up there and preparing them and giving them all the support that they can need to be able to achieve rather amazing things.
Yes, well done you. And
So that was good.
yes, so you've done all these amazing things, and this year it's just going to be tough, yeah. And last year was tough.
So last year was particularly tough. This year we have got another another expedition, and we're taking some wounded veterans across the Omani desert.
Oh wow. That's next to where I was born, in Yemen, in Aden. So
Okay, very
you're
cool.
next door neighbours to. I've wanted to go and visit Oman, but yes, that's quite a desert.
Well, it's quite a beautiful country, and we're walking across the desert with some Omani veterans, wounded veterans as well.
Wow, well, great. That's great that you're
The
Mexican.
The Sultan over there has been very cool and let us come to his country and use this as a platform to talk about wounded veterans both in our country and in his.
Excellent. And you know the good word to know in Arabic is shukran, which works everywhere, even though there are different dialects. Thank you. Shukran, thank you. It's the one word that gets you so many places. But yeah, so that's going to happen.
But the question is, are we going to be able to do it in this COVID times?
Yeah.
It's been cancelled a couple of times. We were supposed to go in about February of last year.
All right.
And then we postponed it until November of this year. And now we're going again in February, March. Fingers crossed that actually the Omani authorities let us in. They've been incredibly helpful.
Well, that's great.
But fingers crossed it'll go ahead. It's been postponed twice now.
Right, yes, I understand.
Yeah.
And I've seen this note about digital poverty. Tell us about that.
That's a bit of learning that we've done this year. I mean, clearly, like the rest of the country, we got shut down on the late March, and it was very difficult. Our USP, our sort of what we do is we support veterans in their communities, face-to-face meetings to try and build their confidence, to support their mental health and their physical health, and we haven't been able to do that because. Clearly the lockdown and the COVID thing has been very restrictive in what we've been able to achieve this year. So we switched overnight to remote working, and we're able to, we switched to this type of means in 24 hours from face-to-face to video conferencing. And actually that has enabled us to really understand and to support people better. And some of the outcomes this year have been remarkable, absolutely remarkable. One of the things that we want to do to achieve next year is to build out a digital support team so that we can continue this learning of how to work digitally and online to support our veterans, so actually we don't necessarily need to do the face-to-face work that we have done in the past.
I get the impression you're saying in some ways it's actually been better. This accident of the digital has actually helped.
Oh, do you know what? I think as a nation, as a global community, I think we have all learned new skills and new ways of operating. And in the tragedy that is COVID, I think there are some positives coming out. I mean, the environmental effect of just less travel. And people being more focused in on how to have a lesser impact on our communities and our environment is a good thing. And certainly one of the things we've learned is about this digital care and being able to support veterans that way. We'll continue to do our face-to-face work because that's where it works really well. But we want to enhance it by bringing in a better and more robust digital care team.
Excellent. Well done to you guys. No, that is amazing. There are some, in any negative thing, I semi-encyclopedic on World War II, and people talk about the special generation, but I think every generation has its special people, and they step up to the plate. Right now at COVID, the NHS, special people, frontline workers, and that happens every generation. And then there's some flip side people who, the tendency, if their characters aren't very positive, they tend to go to completely the other side. So hopefully there's more goodwill than ill will in the world. We can see that more, but I hope the vaccine things that we are spreading them around the world rather than holding them back country by country. So well done to you.
Again, I mean, you make a really good point. Who would have thought 12 months ago that they would be sharing a vaccine globally?
Yes.
It's a really nice development. And actually, maybe we can come together as a global community. Hey, look, I've got your hat.
Excellent. Beautiful.
I love the logo.
Yes, make humanity great again. I'm wearing it right at the moment. If you go to eddyizzard.com, other people watching now, you can buy the hats and masks and t-shirts as well. And profits go to the Make Humanity Great Again Fund, and we'll
So-
get through to you as well, to you guys. Walking
Well,
with
that's
the
great. Eddie, tell me about the logo, because it resonates. It sounds like something else.
Well, there was someone from history came up with the slogan. I can't remember, but they've sort of anyway, I don't know what they're doing now, but
I believe they are history.
I believe they're holding onto a desk, kind of like this at the moment. But yes, I just thought Make Humanity Great Again seems slightly more inclusive. I salute all Americans, and I want them to be in part because they're part of humanity. So this makes 7.8 billion of us, as opposed to, COVID nationalism saying we've got the vaccine, you can't have it. That's not good. COVID globalism, trying to get it round to people in developing countries as well as the developed. That is the way forward. And I just think 21st century, what we're inventing, what we're coming up with for good and for ill, this is the century what will make it a fair world for everyone, or I really worry about humanity. So I love the guys like you and different charities who are doing all these positive things, and we've got to win. The positive forces have got to win, because otherwise I don't think humanity is going to make it. I unfortunately don't think anyone's coming down to help us. It's up to us. So I'm very pleased to talk to people like you.
Well, I think it's starting. Just the fact that we can't possibly get rid of COVID unless everybody's got rid of COVID.
Yes, absolutely. So I think there is in there's a majority of people that want this to happen, and it's so some people are for breaking connections. I'm for making even stronger connections. That's what I'm doing. I'm a trans person. I'm going to run 31 marathons, do 31 shows. The money goes to great people like your organisation and other organisations. I just think, and other people, I want to inspire any other people to do that. Make stronger connections. Make FaceTime with people, with friends. Let's link arms rather than break arms. Or break hands.
So another American president once said, "We can't help everybody, but everybody can help someone." And I think that's a really nice sort of strapline to be able to lead our lives forward.
That's great. And you were a forces person. What force were you?
Yeah.
What branch were you?
I was in the infantry. I served for 9 years.
What rank did you get up to?
Oh, I was a bad order captain.
What does that mean?
I never really got into the senior ranks, but I had a lovely time.
I was planning to do officer cadetship at school, so I don't know if you did that, but I was going to go to university and do the 3 years, and I was quite seriously planning to go to, I wanted infantry, paras, marines, something like that. I was kind of fixated on it, but all this other stuff I wanted to do didn't quite mix with it, so in the end I went this way. And I'm trying to do selection. This is me doing selection. Because the Special Forces was always on my mind, so I'm doing...
So selection is not a bodily thing, not a physical thing, it's a mental thing.
It absolutely, and so is endurance running and ultra-marathon runners. And the stuff that you guys do with the veterans, if it's the mind control, the body will do what the mind says. And again, I go back to World War II, people did amazing things and they weren't planning to do that. They weren't brainwashed if they were on the Allied side. I know we're talking about some other countries, but it's the motivation being positive. And it's beautiful what you're doing, because I know the veterans must feel very positive when they come back from these expeditions.
Yeah, so we need to tidy that up a bit, because clearly the expeditions are really interesting. But they're our shop window. They're the brand building exercise of what we do. We support a very few people going on these expeditions. And these expeditions are actually all corporately sponsored. It's just like a football shirt, Yokohama tires from Manchester United or what have you. And that's great. And that's our ability to have a platform to be able to talk to a wider audience. But actually the work we do within the charity is much more granular.
Right.
So this year I think we'll support about 3,500 veterans that are having a hard time. And we support them on the ground with their mental, their physical, and their emotional and social piece. What is key is actually service in the armed forces, but service across the whole of our nation is a really noble thing, whether it's the NHS, the teachers, or joining the armed forces. And sadly, there is a small majority, or a small minority of individuals that get shelled out of that system,
Right.
whether that be through physical trauma, mental trauma, and or emotional sort of social issues. And so we support those guys on their journey back to civilian life and back into resilient individuals who are tax-paying individuals, and that's our game. That's our real focus. So we did about 3,000. We supported about 3,000 last year, 3,500 last year, and we do it in three different ways. We support them on their mental health journey. A lot of it is in working aligned with the NHS, who do a good job, but they can't do everything.
Right.
And so we top up and support that care, that mental health care, dealing with the trauma. We also support guys back into work, and you know yourself how important work is
Yeah.
for purpose and value, and actually just paying the bills.
Yeah.
And so this year we will have got about 500 people back into jobs, and that's a remarkable achievement in a COVID environment.
Yes, absolutely.
Where people are losing their jobs, sadly, across the whole of this nation. It's been a really tough time for the economy. And the other thing we do is care coordination, which is supporting people in their communities, where they work, where they live, with issues such as debt, substance abuse, with housing, and those sorts of things. Because of course each one of those individual elements drives and pushes on their mental health. And so we have this holistic care package where we support them at a granular level in the hope to get them back as fit, able and productive members of society.
Excellent. Well, thank you for telling us that, and thank you for existing, and and making things work during this COVID hell. As you say, we've all had to adjust, and resilience of human beings. It's hopefully a positive sign for the future. We can adjust and change and work out better ways of moving forward. So, unless there's anything else you'd like to add, because this is your window, your shop window time to talk to the world.
Do you know what? There is one other thing that I'd like to touch on, which is the gritty end of what we do. We have a quite a big criminal justice program,
Right.
Where we support veterans that are caught up in police custody.
Right.
And you might ask why we're supporting guys that are caught up in police custody, but actually, clearly, if you robbed a bank, you've made some really bad decisions, and actually the criminal justice system is going to work its processes, and we can't really help those kind of guys.
Right.
But actually, it's the guys that are caught fighting or drinking or the lower level antisocial aspects.
Yes.
You do find quite a lot of veterans being caught up in that, and the drivers to that are actually a lack of opportunity, a lack of support within their communities, and so we support those guys getting back on their feet. It's a program called Project Nova, and I've got a team out throughout. There are 42 police forces around the UK, and we've got teams in 22 of those 42 areas, supporting veterans getting back on their feet from the criminal justice. These aren't really criminals. These are guys that have tripped up over the criminal justice system, being brought into police custody. And we support them back out into their communities as well. And that's a really positive thing. And hopefully these guys are going on to lead good, able, fit, productive lives as well.
Well, thank you for saying that. That is a tough thing to talk about, but it's great that you're covering that as well. So well done to you. Okay, very good. I better run on.
Well, Eddie, look, good luck with all of this.
Thank you.
It's quite a task you've set yourself.
I know, once I've got over halfway, it'll be easier to be confident, but I have done them before, but not quite like this. And
well, you're being in that darkened room. Where are we today? You're in London, yes?
I'm in London. This is celebrating London, UK, anywhere, but people, if they join me on their treadmill, if they happen to have a treadmill, there's a Zwift app, and the people are running along, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people running alongside me at the moment, 7, and they sort of wave and they give thumbs ups, and that's kind of fun. Virtual running, and then I can talk to people like yourself, and they can watch it all streaming on eddieizard.com, and yeah, it's kind of crazy, but you know.
Tell me about the stand-up shows.
Well, the stand-up shows are going to be slightly drunken. They're going to feel that way because if you run for 6 hours, the amount of endorphins, as I call them, in your body, is a truckload. And I did 2 of them when I was back in February, and they were just kind of weird and spacey, and there's no audience there. So this is Studio 4 at Riverside Studios. I go to Studio 2, normally holds about 400, 500 people, and it's just me, and one straight on camera, one camera to a side, and I will talk a bit like this, but in a more comedic. I will go through the best scenes scenes of my past career to no audience. So I will just have to assume that I'm being really funny, or at least interesting. So that's what's going to happen at 7 p.m. London time every day, and we celebrate a different city each day. So it's Lisbon in Portugal tomorrow, and as you can see, the images behind are all London today, and they'll be all Lisbon in Portugal tomorrow, and people can send them in to us and put the hashtag Make Humanity Great Again, and then we put them up.
I love the hashtag Make Humanity Great Again, because it is so true. And just a word of thanks from us at Walking with the Wounded. We're a fundraising charity. We're events based. Last year in March we had to cancel about £1.4 million worth of event income that we had planned on. We navigated the year relatively successful, but clearly this COVID thing is running into this year, and it's going to be tough again. We know how we're going to achieve it, but the support that we can get from guys like you are amazing. And so I can't thank you enough for helping us achieve our goals, and we will certainly help you achieve yours. We'll be tracking your journey over the next 20, 30 days, 31 days.
Well, thanks for believing in us. You know, as I mentioned before, I did want to be in the military. I understand, you know, some people have a big, block on the military, but I don't see it that way, and that's why. And I'll mention this here. I'm not trying to. Because a lot of people don't know this, but the D-Day commemorations. Every year, every 5 years I go and I perform in English, French and German to commemorate the fallen and to celebrate the peace that has been made since then. And so I perform in the language of the German nation, who have tried like crazy to be better than the Nazis were, and in French and in English, the 3 languages of the battle that was going on. And that's kind of a beautiful thing to do, and then raise money for charity for military-linked charities like yourselves, and that's what I like to do, is just to do something imaginative and commemorate and celebrate peace, and commemorate the hell that people went through. So, just wanted to mention that.
Well,
cool.
Brilliant, and you're certainly, this sort of thing is amazing, and actually brings everybody together. It just focuses the mind.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for coming in. Thanks for believing in me to signing up.
Well, I would love to come and join you on another run, but I'm not a runner.
No, okay.
I'm taking the family swimming now.
Okay. That's the thing.
Bit of ice water swimming.
Yes.
It's an annual event. Is the quick dip in the lake.
Oh right, the freezing cold dip in the lake. Yes, very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I got to go do my lifeguard duty.
Good luck with that one. All right.
Well, good luck with yours.
Happy New Year. Take care.
Eddie, thank you very much indeed, and Happy New Year. Good luck.
Cheers, Fergus. Okay. Oh, pit stop.